All right, welcome everybody. My name is Allison Schumacher. I am the Director of Academic Alchemy for the VCU Vinci Center. And my co-director here, Ingrid Pretzer-Aboff, and I are welcoming a guest here today, but welcoming all of you to talk about the Graduate Certificate in Healthcare Innovation. So this certificate is really meant to bridge the gap between healthcare workers that see problems every single day in the healthcare system, but don't know how to translate those into a product that can actually solve for those problems, and people on the product side that really want to be able to help improve healthcare, but don't necessarily know the regulations, the safety, or how to get something implemented in the healthcare system. So this is a pretty flexible program that we can meet students where they are to hopefully help them get a better understanding of what it is they're trying to learn in healthcare and in the product development space. So yeah, we are here to give you all the details. And let me pass it over to Ingrid real quick to give her introduction.
Hi, I'm Ingrid Pretzer-Aboff. I'm a professor at the School of Nursing at VCU. I'm also the co-director, as Allison said. We share this responsibility. Relevant to the certificate program, I have developed and tested medical devices that deliver vibration to treat tremor and gait problems, walking problems in people with Parkinson's disease. And I started two LLCs. And collaborate with multiple people across disciplines, including healthcare, engineering, comp sci, and fashion and art schools. Working with Allison has been an eye-opener for me and has opened up, as it will for you, multiple ways to network with experts in the field to help your vision, your innovative project move forward. And just want to say that this is for people that have new processes, new products, new projects. It's helped move your very innovative idea to healthcare improvement and quality. And I'll pass this over back to Allison.
Okay, thank you. And today we have a little bit something new in our info session here. I'm very excited to welcome Manjari to our Zoom call here. Manjari runs an experimental program that has developed in the Vinci Center and has done a lot of really cool collaborations with healthcare systems in our area. And I just thought it would be a really great idea for you all to hear from her on those projects and also understand that she's teaching classes on healthcare innovation that apply to this certificate. So it may be something that you're interested in. Those courses are also open to any master's or professional student on campus. So regardless of whether or not you're in the program, you can certainly join her courses. But Manjari, please give us the pleasure of understanding the cool work you do.
Yes, thank you so much, Allison. I was going to say you covered a good bit there, but I will just share a little bit about my background. So I have a background in public health and design and really passionate about how to teach creativity and leadership to those who might think it's not really for me. So those are my favorite nuts to crack, and I really found that space in health. So with that background, I teach two courses in this certificate, one that is really focused on problem discovery, which is a much bigger part of coming up with a great solution than we initially think of. And then the next course is kind of a follow-up to that goes from coming up with really cool ideas to how we actually implement them in healthcare systems. So I will pause there. Oh, you're on mute.
Had to happen to someday, right? It's the trend of Zoom. Can you talk a little bit about the projects that you started last fall and have kind of moved into the spring, and what kind of problems are you solving?
Yes, thank you. So last semester, we started two really exciting collaborations. We've been working with the Veterans Health Administration in a lot of different capacities, but over the summer and fall, we kicked off this partnership where we teach clinical innovators in the VA how to take their ideas to the next level. And so it's this awesome cohort of 15 or so clinicians who have come up with ideas. They've done some programming within the VA itself, but we really provide that like tailored programming, one-on-one office hours, mentorship, really cool workshops that are designed around their needs. And then the other collaboration we have is within our own space at VCU Health, working with them in our rural hospitals at Community Memorial and Tappahannock to better understand kind of their emergency department space. Yes, perfect. And it's really awesome to think about how innovation can start in those rural hospitals, which is kind of my favorite thing about our collaboration with VCU Health. Instead of starting with the city, like let's go to those extreme users and start to work with them there. And so that's been really great. We've been working with everyone from leadership to frontline staff at those hospitals to better understand their experiences and seeing how together with our students, with those providers, with those staff, that we can design better experiences for patients. So the passion really comes through at all levels and in all directions for that one.
I think that's just really fantastic, Manjari. I don't know that everybody sees the opportunity to use that human-centered research to develop products, systems, services that really meet human needs. A lot of times we might perceive a problem in the world, but not truly understand what problem actually needs to be solved. This happens pretty frequently in our project courses where a sponsor may come forward with a problem for our cross-disciplinary teams. And then mid-semester, we learn that that's not actually the problem we should be solving because we talked to humans who experienced said problem. So just absolutely wonderful to bring more of that training and more of that mindset into the healthcare system. But yeah, anything else you want to talk about in terms of the Shift Healthcare Lab?
I was just going to say, to your, like building off of that, we really are that bridge between students and the health systems. And students often want to do a lot of these like innovative ideas in healthcare, but they're like, then how do I actually make that happen, or where do I start? And so what I also love about the courses I teach, we work on those real world challenges with our providers and staff. But it also is open to all students from like different disciplines. So we often get students that don't have any health experience, and they come in from like business and engineering and arts and stuff like that. And then they learn how to innovate in healthcare, and it just becomes so much more possible.
Amazing. I bet it changes their perspective when they engage in healthcare for themselves as well.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
If I could tag on that, Manjari, is that healthcare providers who have not been a student in this current world of bridging gaps is our healthcare providers often have extremely good ideas because they've witnessed it over and over and experienced it over and over again, but don't have the know-how, the knowledge, but they do have the will to move it forward into something tangible that can be change healthcare, change care for patients, for themselves as a provider even. So it just works both ways. So when we started this, I always often said bridging, building a bridge. And now I feel like we're starting to merge together better in a stronger established way of, and this is not going to go away, established way of working together so that we can meet those needs of healthcare and the people that can actually build these things for us or help us build things.
Exactly. And you lived it.
Lived absolutely 100% for the last decade. It's a slow process, but I'm thrilled that we're getting there to the point of not just calling it a bridge. It's a definite merging of talents.
Excellent. All right. Anything else, Manjari, to
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I could go on. I'm really passionate about this. And from the folks that have been a part of the certificate or have taken courses with us, I would say some of the things that stand out to them is that this is your creative space, right? Like it's really hard sometimes to find the time to build on your ideas and brainstorm with folks and just kind of get like fun with it. This is that space for you. And I know it's hard to integrate in the day-to-day sometimes and how will this apply to my work, but we offer that space for providers and staff and for students to all like come together. And the other thing that I also really love about our courses is that human-centered design is really at the core of it. It provides a different lens to how we might typically approach like operations and things like that in healthcare. But in the courses that I teach, we also pull on health behavior design principles. We pull on systems thinking, because the unique thing about designing in healthcare is that you're not designing for just one end user, right? There's a patient, there's a provider, there's a staff, there's the back end, there's IT, there's like all of these different stakeholders and systems. So many things. So it's not the most straightforward, but I think makes it so much more interesting to design in this space.
Agreed. All right. Shall we launch into some of the details and the resources and stuff for the certificate? Okay. So first, we're gonna launch into a few things that we've seen more developed in the Master of Product Innovation. But before we do that, I want to bring up a few of the examples of students who have come in with product ideas into the certificate, joined the 6-credit capstone that is part of the certificate, and also half of the capstone for the Master of Product Innovation. Because when I made this slide, we didn't have many examples, and now I have 3 that I can briefly share. So we have had a pulmonologist that has come into the program that was looking for, or that was creating a better drainage system for how it works in surgery. I'm not a surgeon, could not give you the details on that, but was able to show this to an audience, be able to get feedback from other physicians, and be able to make iterative improvements over time. Medical products can take a while to get out into the world, especially if they are internal. Takes a lot of FDA clearance and those kinds of things. So it'll be a little while before we see that one come out. But more recently, this past semester, we had a student in the master's program in School of Nursing, also part of the certificate, who really wanted to solve for a problem where first responders or specific emergency hospital staff have to have a lot of different types of tools and gauze and various other things on them at all times. And it's really kind of difficult to do that, or to have a cart, or to have to keep going back and restocking. So she created a kind of a multi-use vest that would allow each of these. So it could be EMTs, or it could be workers in the ER, so that they kind of have everything very quickly at their disposal. And so maybe they replenish at the beginning or the end of their shift, but then they're ready to go for the next one, and they don't have to run off and find supplies when in an emergency situation. That one is obviously not internal and a physical product, and so we're hoping that we can get that one out much faster. And then the last one we had, I think she was the director of nursing innovation over in our health system, Alison Montpetit, when she was doing this project, but really looking at creating a dashboard to pull in research, like the newest research in healthcare, to better disseminate it and get it into practice. This is an extremely nebulous problem. I guess right after this, the hospital system also switched its organization, switched to Epic, for any healthcare professionals that know the systems in the background. So that kind of took her time away. So it's a big problem. She made some progress, and hopefully once she's out of the weeds of, being an impactful nurse and a leader, that we'll be able to get that one a little bit more back on track, because it is a desperate need in the world of healthcare. That dissemination is super important. Some of the examples that you'll see here to the far left, this is a prototype of a burr stick shield. So basically in dentistry, especially in student dentistry, there are a lot of burr sticks. So basically a drill that is super sharp, and the student is moving, doing the work on the patient, but then may bump their arm into the burr stick into the burr after it has been in the patient's mouth. And so then they have to go through a lot of testing, blood tests and various other things for communicable diseases. And it's very expensive, and it happens all the time. So being able to have a shield that would automatically place the drill in the right position and keep it away from the skin, super helpful. The dental students here at VCU, very excited about this. The next image over, these are students prototyping a way to test for chronic sinusitis or chronic rhinitis, where so a patient could discover if it's allergies, a virus, or bacterial before going to a doctor, so they would better know how to treat, and the doctor would know better how to treat that. I'll give a couple other ones here. Let's go to the one with the kind of weird pink squishy things in it. This is students in our lab prototyping a product that is now out in the world. It is a dental shroud, so another dental project, but basically when taking boards, dental students have a fleshy mask that goes over a metal skull that has a set of teeth that have specific types of damage to them. And they use this to test for their boards, and fix the teeth and those kinds of things. But the current shrouds are made of latex. They smell bad, they get sticky, they break and split, and you can't repair them. So our students developed a new silicone version, protected it through NDA, and are currently producing this and distributing it to dental schools around the world, or around the United States. So it's out there. This was a project they did in the program in one of our project classes. and the sponsor didn't have the means or the time to carry it forward, so they made their own business. It's called Jawbreakers, and this is one that released, and we're super proud of them. Not a single student on this team was an engineer or a service provider, for that matter. They went in and actually discussed or just met with people from the dental school and from around the United States to see what the need was, and they thoroughly solved it. And now we have a bunch of silicone faces that just happen to be around the Da Vinci Center. Because, we got to keep the prototypes. The last one has to do with a CVC line placement and preventing it from entering the body and getting caught up in the lungs and the heart area. But that is one that is patented. That is one the university is putting out to the world. There are actually 3 patents that came out of the 6 designs that the students created. And we're working on full FDA clearance so we can start using those. So this is kind of the stuff that I think a lot of people interested in the certificate want to hear about. So now we're going to dive into the other details. And if you have questions in the process here, if you are tuning in live, you feel free to pop anything in the chat or unmute and ask questions. This can be very conversational. And if you come up with questions afterwards, you can always email us and we'll have that contact information at the end. And then anybody else tuning in because you registered for this event, this will also be available on YouTube and the link will go to your email since you registered. So, all right. Let's get into the stuff. So resources for students in this program. We work to create community amongst the students in this program. So trying to make sure that they have access to each other, even though they may never meet in a classroom. Sometimes they do. There's plenty of opportunity to meet new people, but we have students joining the certificate, leaving and graduating from the certificate at different times. So we will host events to introduce everyone. We have a Miro board. So if you're new to the program, people have put profiles and things on it so you can go in and see who else has gone through the program or who is currently in the program, and we can make some introductions. This one we put the speaker series we put on pause for this semester. I personally am going to collect some data on healthcare systems and be out on leave for 6 weeks. So our speaker series is on pause, but normally we would invite medical startup founders to come in and speak. We've had the Dean of Nursing come in and speak, but healthcare providers that are already in this space who work cross-disciplinarily and can kind of give some insight to what it is we're trying to accomplish with the certificate and be able to help our students expand their network in that space too. Let's see. So I mentioned the Miro board. VCU is also an Adobe campus. So every student, if you're not already a VCU student and you would like to join the certificate, you get Adobe Creative Suite for free. And that's pretty great. And the library offers lots of opportunity to be able to either train yourself or there are classes on campus. And then we also use Lego Serious Play methodology, which you would likely encounter if you come into when you take the Da Vinci courses. It's very different than just like building a car with Lego. It has everything to do with giving us a physical object to refer to when we're storytelling. So getting a prompt and then imagining what we would want to talk about in terms of that subject and having something to point to and use as a visual metaphor. It's pretty powerful in terms of teams and having teams really express what they think will happen with the project, right? So we'll all get a kind of a concept when we're introduced to a problem. And this helps teams kind of figure out where their mindsets might be a little bit different and they can better understand each other to be able to move forward. Oh, we have even a newer special guest. We have Cooper. Cooper, the oldest puppy in the world, but he is the cutest. Thank you, Manjari, for bringing him in. And then lastly here, we have 2 links that in this deck that will go out to everybody. We're live links for the School of Nursing events and for Da Vinci events. We host a lot of things. Manjari is going to be hosting on April 4th an AI themed patent mining experience with NASA. So be sure to check that out when it hits our event calendar and come join us and ideate with NASA and play with AI. Why not? Let's have some fun. Okay. So space and tools, we have what is called Da Vinci South and Da Vinci North. So in Da Vinci South, that's where a lot of those pictures were from prototyping. That's the picture on the far left, where we do have a makerspace with lots and lots of hand tools, a vacuum form machine, a laser cutter, a few 3D printers, those kinds of things that students can just come in. If you're signed up for one of our classes, you have access to it. And we do have leaders of that to be able to train in case you've never used some of the tools and things in there. And if you want, I will help you prototype because it's one of my favorite things to do is to make things. And I can also offer my skill set. If you don't know how to sew, just tell me what to do. I can sew it for you. Um,
I may put you to work on that.
they can't. Honestly, it is a lot of fun. I'll dedicate like 3-hour periods to work with students, and it is one of my favorite parts of my job. If if you want my input on the product, I'll give it. But if you just need someone with who happens to collect hobbies and skills, I'm your person. The second one here is a shift retail lab where our total shift labs kind of started. I really need to get a new picture here because wow, is that empty. That was before we actually launched it. So this is a space where students who already have products can come in and sell them, maintain 100% of what they earn. Students with product ideas can come in, set up a shelf. They can have prototypes out, but we bring community members in to be able to give feedback. So think of it like you take a biology class, you have a biology lab. This is a lab for product innovation and entrepreneurship. Students can apply to be what we call shelfies, and you get a small prototyping budget and featured for about a quarter of the semester. We have 4 cohorts that tend to come through each semester. The next big silver, just a big classroom, but it's a big modular classroom that we use for all of our Da Vinci classes. So that would likely be a place that you would end up if you take some of our in-person classes. And then Ingrid, I'll pass it over to you to talk about the School of Nursing.
So on the top right, we have a very large biolab, and that is our director. And on the bottom right, we have a very large space for people, students, instructors, anybody together, talk, get together. It's space for you, and you could be as loud as you want to, but let's not forget the libraries on campus that could also be used. But everything that Allison has said so far up until now, and including the next slides, it's extremely interactive. There's nothing boring about this program. You're
No.
constantly thinking and using all your senses.
Yeah, especially if you choose to opt into a lot of our events. We do a lot of fun
Yeah.
stuff, and some of
Yes.
it might be related to healthcare, but other isn't. But what we're teaching here is a mindset. If you learn the design thinking mindset, and learn how to apply it, you can basically apply it to any problem out there.
Which is a beautiful way to network.
It certainly is. All right.
So we do have deadlines for admission, but if you look at this carefully, it kind of feels like a rolling admission.
It
Summer,
is.
for people to join in the summer, the deadline is April 15th, and the start date, we say May, June, or July. I know the School of Nursing very soon is going to go to a 14-week semester. So that makes it easier for some people. The fall semester, we have a June 15th deadline, and the spring semester in 2026 would be November 1st. And okay, it's a part-time program, or you could do it full-time if you'd like, but it's 1 to 2 years to complete. The nursing courses are offered online, mostly asynchronous with some synchronous times, not too many, but you'll know well ahead in advance when those days are. Da Vinci offers online courses if there's enough students in those courses, so somebody may theoretically complete from across the country fully online. And the in-person courses that Da Vinci offers are in the evening, so it really does accommodate working professionals. Again, our summer deadline is April 15th. You apply through the graduate school, VCU Graduate School, and the whole credit program is 12 credits, 6 credits from VCU School of Nursing and 6 credits from the Da Vinci. So the NLOS program is the nursing, leadership and organizational science. You need 6 credits from that. Usually that's 2 courses. And the Da Vinci Center, there's a plethora of ways you could get those credits. You can take as many credits as you want. You're not limited to the 6. There's so many courses in there that are fun. Even I want to take those. I did take some.
You did.
Requirements are a baccalaureate degree from an accredited college or university. Now this says a GPA of 3.0 or higher on a 4.0 scale, but we do have exceptions to the rule. It's made really based on a holistic review and interview of each applicant. So if we feel that there's a good match, and that's what it's all about. If there's a good match with the program and the individual inquiring and interviewing for it, then there shouldn't be a problem accessing it.
Yeah, we've just to interject one moment, we
Yeah.
have found that there is that a GPA or GRE scores is not a determining factor as to who can be successful in our programs. That goes for the MPI and the certificate. So it really is a look at humans. I've had students come in with pretty terrible GPAs, but it's because they started a business when they were an undergrad. And so their focus was divided. And just knowing that, that makes them a great candidate for this program, but may not for other programs that are a bit more strict in terms of just looking at that GPA.
So scores not required are the GREs, GMATs, and MCATs, but there is a requirement for English non-native English speakers who have not previously been awarded an undergraduate degree that was taught in English from a university or a college located in the USA. But they need to have evidence of a TOEFL score of 100 or higher, an IELTS score of 6.5 or higher, or passing score on the VCU English Language Program Comprehensive Test.
That's a university-wide policy that we can't change.
Right. So on this slide, we have the sequence of courses that are available from both schools, School of Nursing on the left and the Vinci Center on the right. You would need 6 credits from each program to complete the certificate. On the left side, you see the summer of 2025, Nursing 603, Improvement Science and Outcomes Management is the course offered at that time. So there's an emphasis on quality and safety science in this course. Processes looking at clinical for efficacy, looking at analyzing organizational processes as well. Root cause analysis when examining medical errors is covered, and developing or using valid and reliable metrics to measure outcomes is presented. The next course that on this list is fall of 2025. Excuse me, it's Nursing 515, and that's Holistic Leadership in Healthcare Delivery. It's also a 3-credit course. Leadership concepts are discussed from self, your own leadership, style, organizational, and societal perspectives. They include in this critically analyzed political, legal, ethical, diversity, and cultural perspectives are explored, and also an emphasis is placed on that communication, decision-making skills amongst yourself with other entities. And the third course recommended, you only need to take 2 of the 3. In Nursing 517, it's in the spring of 2016. It's Organization, Science, and Implications for Human Material Resource Management. There's classical, modern, postmodern theories are discussed and examined. The foundation for leadership and administration in healthcare organizations, a good foundation to have as you most likely are in or will interact with some type of healthcare organization. So learning how they think and what's important in that structure is good. Foundations in human resource management, they'll include law, evaluating performance, job design, analysis, managing conflict, influencing culture of diversity and inclusion. And they'll talk about and you'll learn about supply chain logistics and management, including product evaluation and decision-making related to sustainability. All of those are important, which of course I'm saying that. We think everything we teach is important. Okay, Allison, you're up.
Yes, I will take over these and not try to be, well, I will try to not be too wordy because I am sure of details. My team laughs at me. So I'll run through these pretty quickly and can always provide more detail later. So summer 2025, there are quite a few courses, 691 courses or topics courses in product innovation that we will be teaching, and I'll touch a little bit more on those in the next slide. But this one, Inno600 Integrative Design Studio, is a study abroad opportunity. It does come with some external costs, but we bring students to Porto, Portugal for 3 weeks to participate in the European Innovation Academy. So it is 45 to 65 different nationalities that all come together in teams of 5 and go from idea to pitching to investors in just 3 weeks. So it is kind of like the the fire hose of information in terms of all things product and entrepreneurship. So you kind of get the a glimpse at all of it and what that looks like, and then you can come back and go more in depth. The 502 Business Principles course, this is a great one that I recommend any person who doesn't have a background in business take. This is co-taught by two professionals. All of our classes are taught by people who do this stuff in the real world. So this course really dives into what it looks like in the product innovation space, specifically to business, and how to think about business models and how you might develop those. And you work on real projects that you can apply those learnings to while you're in the middle of it. This course works pretty closely with the Da Vinci project course, the NO590. This is a course that I co-teach. And absolutely adore. This is where we bring in sponsors from external groups and work to solve their very real world problems. These are complex problems. This course is very much a challenge, and we have parenthetically with permission, because I just need to know who's going to be coming into this class. I try to choose projects that are relevant to the skill sets and the people that are coming in. And so if I know I have healthcare students that want to apply their learnings to a healthcare project, I can specifically target healthcare projects to bring into this class. It takes like about 6 months to bring these projects in. So if this is something you're really excited about, likely if you can give me a heads up, great. If not, we can likely accommodate. We can be pretty flexible. I just need to know. And then in spring of 26, we have this NO651. This is the one where I was talking about earlier and gave the examples of other students in this particular certificate that have come through. Oh, and I forgot to mention one. I have to mention this one. I'm sorry, tangent. But we had a student who came in who worked on developing a model to help predict how likely it was for individual patients to get skin cancer, which is pretty neat. He worked on a partnership with one of our Master of Product Innovation students to kind of get the coding down and those kinds of things, but basing it off of data sets that he had already worked on through his research in his PhD program. Okay, so 651, yes, this is a 6-credit course. You can complete all 6 credits that are needed for the certificate through that one class. Obviously, you can take a lot of our other classes. They range from 1 to 3 credits. So you can kind of choose your own adventure a little bit, but this one is specifically for people who already have a problem in mind or a product that they've already developed and want to continue to develop. It doesn't matter if you come into this class with just an idea that you are working to validate, or if you have an established product that you're looking to scale. We can do both. We can definitely meet you where you are. And then every semester we have a course called NO610, Innovation, Design Thinking, and Change Management. This is very focused on the design thinking process. It is offered every single semester. It is fully online and taught by someone who does this stuff in the real world. He did it for Capital One for a long time, and now he does it mostly for government services. But you do work on a project or a product from usually a student within the class. So that one is, let's see, so that one's great. Let's see. And then the 691 courses, just as a caveat, we do have live links here to the bulletin and where you can find the course descriptions of each of these classes. But these are examples of electives that exist in the Da Vinci Center that are open to any student at the graduate level, and are especially, we encourage our students in the certificate to take as part of their 6 credits or beyond. I already talked about 610. We do teach UX, UI, user experience, user interface. Pretty much any experience you have in this world involves, well, your experience and some kind of interface, from going to a restaurant or, navigating a website. So lots of different options in that, but you can kind of look through the lens of a UX, UI researcher and designer in that particular class. There's a 1-credit experience in the summer and a 3-credit experience in the spring. Implementing innovation in healthcare and designing the future of healthcare are both Manjari's classes here. And yes, again, open to everyone. She kind of explained earlier what those are, so I don't need to repeat. And then we have things like user research for innovation. So if you were just looking how to do some of that qualitative research or really understand how to generate data that you can utilize to carry forward in the development of a product or to solve a problem, specifically looking at those methods. And then prototyping your ideas, that's one we'll definitely be launching this summer with the founder of Kinnis Technologies. So it's like a wearable technologies company, Vincent Vu. So yeah, and some of these courses you'll see are only 1 week long or 2.5 weeks long over the summer. Mind you, they're like 4 hours every night, but you can still get a graduate credit in a week if you got the time. All the classes will start after 5 p.m. too. All right. Oh, and at the very bottom again, a live link. We have lots more classes than this throughout the entire year, and those course descriptions are available on the Da Vinci website that's tagged there. Okay, tuition costs. This one is a little strange to talk about because it's not consistent. So if you were just joining the healthcare certificate for innovation, you would technically be a School of Nursing student, and you would pay those tuition rates for in-state and out-of-state that we see there at the top. If you belong to another master's program or another graduate or professional program on campus, the tuition rate is the same as your original program. So if this is standard tuition rate for the university graduate level. But if you belong to the executive MBA, you would end up paying that tuition rate, tuition and fees for these particular classes. Students who are either in the School of Nursing, I forgot to add it here, the School of Nursing Leadership Program, the NOLS program, or the Master of Product Innovation can enroll in this certificate and not pay any additional funding. The 6 credits on either side fit nicely into the electives for those master's programs. And so you simply replace your electives with the courses from nursing or the product innovation masters. Let's see. So I think I covered everything there. And if you want to look more closely at how tuition and fees might calculate out for you, we do have a link there to the tuition calculator. You can use the School of Nursing master's program as a default because the certificate isn't loaded into that system, but it will load the same kind of in-state and out-of-state tuition rates. All right, financial aid. We have all kinds of stuff here. School of Nursing does have a link there for School of Nursing scholarships. The Da Vinci Center does have scholarships, but we primarily focus those scholarships on our Master of Product Innovation students. We don't have any yet to apply to this, just to this nursing program, or ones that kind of cross paths. Our donors primarily attach it to full-time enrollment in a program. Let's see. And then for financial aid, loans, those kinds of things for graduate level, let's say you just graduated undergrad, or you only have, or if you have an undergraduate degree, but no master's, you should know that you only have to register for 5 credits in order to qualify for financial aid. You do not have to register for 12 credits like you do as an undergrad. So, to be eligible for financial aid, just 5 credits. And then if you'd rather take out personal loans, those kinds of things, Elm Select is the company that VCU recommends. And lastly, we do have, there are graduate assistantships all over campus. I have had students from the MPI find full positions with tuition support and $25,000 stipends for other units on campus, but these are everywhere, and you can find them on VCU Handshake. And if you enter the MPI, we have lots of ones that are more specific to the needs of the center, and then we kind of customize them to what the students want to learn and gain experience in. All right, Ingrid, you want to go over this one? Oh, you are on mute, my dear. Happened to you too.
So sorry. Application form and the application fee, it's about $70, and there are a few waivers available. You need to ask. We require 3 references, letters of recommendation, could be professional and/or academic, but only the names and email addresses are required at the time of the application. Actual letters can come in later. We know that they take time. We need a statement of purpose, a resume stating relevant work experience, and official transcripts from all schools that you have attended. So you can submit unofficial transcripts for us to reference before your interview, while we will wait for official transcripts after. But official transcripts are required to accept you as an applicant. But we can interview based on unofficial transcripts. So we make it as easy as possible. It's a very comfortable, I think, interview process, and quite fun.
there it happened to me again. There's one thing that I forgot to mention in terms of funding. So if you were an employee of VCU, we know that VCU will support up to 6 credits tuition at standard tuition rate for employees. In my experience, I do not know all the rules with VCU health employees, so I don't want to put something out there that might not be true, but talk to your supervisor, talk to your HR department. We have had students that work full-time in the healthcare system that do receive tuition support, that up to 6 credit tuition support for just attending any program or even attending as a non-degree seeking student. So you make sure you check, because you very well might be able to get VCU to pay for your certificate here, which would be great. Okay, let's see. All right. Really with the submission of all your materials, we just want to get to know you better as a human, and we want to make it as easy as possible. We do not ask questions. If you need a fee waiver, all you got to do is ask for one, and we will send you a code. You can submit your application without paying your fee, and then just reach out to us and we can get you that fee code. All right. Or actually, we can go in and waive it for you. So never mind, just email us and we'll waive it for you. All right, let me go to the next one. So the last thing here is just contact information for Ingrid and I. Manjari, I don't know if you want to say what your email address is for the recording, or just spell it out in the chat. We can add it to this
Before it goes out.
send it out. Yeah. I think if people are interested in joining your classes and maybe aren't entirely committed to doing a whole certificate program, that we might be able to make that contact there, and you can answer any questions that they might have. All right, well, she'll pop it into the chat and we'll add it to this one before we send out the deck to everybody. But yeah, any questions? I know we have one live guest here who is obviously a very impactful healthcare worker doing the work and is currently on the phone. Let's see, I'm trying to see what can we talk about to buy some time for him. Any additional things? I will say, oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to ask a question of like, I got this question from folks that are kind of well into their career in like administration and stuff in health, and like, what is the benefit of taking this certificate for them?
I mean, if they don't have any kind of background in design thinking, being able to learn that process and practice that process, because just doing a workshop and learning it isn't enough. You have to learn how to implement it. You know this from teaching your courses. That can be transformative for a unit. If that person can bring that back and be able to utilize those tools to solve problems internally and develop new systems, to help people become better care providers or better at their job, or improve efficiency in terms of administrative work and those kinds of things. Or potentially if they're thinking about changing their career. You know, if you see a problem every day and you are passionate about solving for that problem, you can become an entrepreneur. We have lots of people who work full time and who develop their products on the side, or, you know, work on the side and develop their product full time. And it is entirely possible. I do want to say this. It is entirely possible that if you are a healthcare worker and you do not have the time or the energy to become an entrepreneur, there are still avenues for you to be able to develop a product and protect it, to potentially license it out to the world, so where then you earn royalties, but you may still see your product to go out into the world and actually be able to help people. And there are also opportunities to run projects on campuses, like with Da Vinci. We just did one over the fall semester where a cross-disciplinary team worked on creating a cooling weighted blanket that the sponsor wants it to be able to run a research study and to be able to help people who are experiencing delirium have a lower level of symptoms or completely remove their symptoms. And they don't have the time and energy, but they are so excited that some of our students are carrying that forward into their capstone class to see if we can really identify a good market and get something like that out in the world, and that they can use prototypes and things for their study. But now, okay, we have our guest off of, he has finished his phone call, but wanted to put out there to our live guest here. Do you have any questions for us? Might be focused.
I think he might be focused
I
on.
don't think he hears me.
Right.
That's okay. That's no big deal. Obviously, seems very focused, could be putting out some fires on that end. But I guess we can probably wrap this up unless anything else that you all might want to add.
I do want you to stay on after Allison.
No problem.
All right, because
I can do that as long as I got time. All right. Well,
won't take
excellent.
long.
Well, thank you, everybody. Our contact information is there. Please reach out. Ingrid will be the primary contact for the next until April. But I'll have it in my out of office in case you'd rather reach out to me. But thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.